This is your Weather Extreme video for Saturday, September the 19th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in. Let's take a look at the weather pattern across the vast United States, and we see that the U.S. is bisected by a front. You'd think that might mean some rain. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it'll mean much in the way of rain for the southeastern U.S. In the upper atmosphere, we're watching a little bit of a trough over the western Great Lakes with another trough a little bit behind it, and those two troughs will play a role in our weather here over the next week. But in the meantime, we are seeing a big upper high over Texas, and that's keeping things pretty dry over the southeastern U.S. Temperatures this morning generally around the lower 60s, a little bit cooler in the Tennessee River Valley where they're dipped into the mid and upper 50s. Looks like we're going to see temperatures climb to near 90 today. On the radar picture, we see very little, if any, showers in what I would call the southeastern U.S., but with that front, we see a few showers. However, again, it's going to be dry. We'll have some precipitable water values to show you in a little while. QPF, not too optimistic on the rainfall over the southeastern U.S., keeping much of the rain over Georgia and into the South Carolina area, where the upper low is expected to stall out. Storm Prediction Center is outlooking a marginal risk for parts of New York, New York and Pennsylvania and northeastern Ohio, what I would call the eastern Great Lakes area. Otherwise, along that front, possibility of some thunderstorms. We see marginal risk over parts of Oklahoma on day 2. That would be Sunday. And then we see that the effects of the front, possibility of showers over South Alabama and North Georgia. And then on Monday, the only thunderstorms are general thunderstorms over the U.S. In the tropics, things are somewhat active. Kind of expect that this time of year because this is the period of time when most of the activity in the tropics occur. We have 3 areas that are being watched, one off the coast of Florida, which is not expected to develop into much of anything. We have Tropical Depression 9, which is in the middle Atlantic, and that certainly is struggling with both a combination of dry air and shear. And then yesterday, Ida formed. Ida is a tropical storm, and as we see with the graphics for Ida's future, Ida is expected to stay a tropical storm, once again because of the combination of dry air and shear that is occurring. Ida is not expected to develop much. The NHC is forecasting a rather slow strengthening, but certainly not getting it above tropical storm strength during this period, and it may not be that strong overall. All right, let's get to the modeling this morning, and we're looking at the GFS from 06Z, and there comes our front, unfortunately, and the GFS, I think, is nailing it pretty well. We're not seeing much in the way of showers with that front. By Sunday, the front is in our area, but there's not much in the way of activity. We're not getting much lift, and in the upper atmosphere, we can see that the front is becoming pretty much parallel to the flow aloft, and the result is the front's not going to go very far, so it's going to kind of hang up over central South Alabama. It's a little questionable as to where that is going to be. And then the reason that we see that we're not going to get much in the way of showers is we look at precipitable water. And yes, precipitable water in South Alabama does get up to around 1.5, 1.6 inches, but generally you like to see higher values on the order of 1.9, 2 inches or so. So it looks like we're not going to see much in the way of any activity. Monday, the front and the frontal zone are still there. We're getting a few showers. So once again, we're going to keep that introduction of showers in our forecast. But once again, the precipitable water values are just not very high. So we just don't have much moisture for the atmosphere to work on. In the upper atmosphere on Monday, we do see the trough moving through the southeastern U.S. And things get a little complicated as we head into Tuesday. We see that much of the rain is off to our east, and once again, the precipitable water is very dry. We're under northwesterly flow, and in the upper atmosphere, we can see the trough is actually sharpening up just a little bit as it's approaching the east coast. However, the ridge is also strengthening over Texas and the mid Central Plains area, and the result is we're going to have northwesterly flow, so again, it's going to keep us dry. By Wednesday, the trough cuts off, so it becomes separated from the main westerlies that are moving through Canada, pretty far north in Canada, And we see that the ridge is extending up into the Great Lakes area, but that cutoff low is probably not going to do much for us because we're going to stay on the west side of it. On Thursday, the cutoff low does retrograde or move westward a little bit, but it doesn't get into Alabama. So the result is we're staying under northwesterly flow. We're staying under dry conditions, so it's not likely we're going to see much in the way of showers as the weather stays pretty typical. And again, looking at precipitable water values for Thursday, they're just not there to give us any precipitation. When we get out to Friday, the closed low begins to open up in response to that deep trough coming across Canada. And then on Saturday, that deep trough picks it up and moves it on out, and we come under that ridge to our west. And once again, that keeps us basically dry. But that's okay. When it's the weekend, we like dry. Going out into voodoo country, we've got some interesting changes coming. And that is the ridge is the dominant feature for about the first 2/3 of week 2. And you can see for Monday, this is the 18Z upper air chart. You can see that big ridge extending all the way from West Texas all the way into the Atlantic Ocean. But here's where the changes come about. Take a look at this. The GFS out at 372 hours, this is the 4th of October, is forecasting a closed upper low over North Florida. And we're going to do something I don't do very often, and that is we're going to look at the surface map and look at that. It has a surface low. Could this be a tropical system? Ooh, it could be. Might not be. Could be. And it might not even be there tomorrow. You know how the GFS is with extended range things. It puts things there, and then tomorrow it takes them away. But we'll see. Anyway, something for us to keep our eye on and speculate about. Well, that'll do it for the Weather Xtreme video for this morning. I expect to have the next one posted first thing on Sunday morning. In the meantime, keep up with the blog for the latest updates on Alabama's weather. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Have a great day and Godspeed.